This Thursday night matchup, LA Chargers taking on the Denver Broncos. Who needs the game more? When you sit back, guys, and you really analyze it, who needs the game more? Right now, the Denver Broncos are sitting at 9-5 on the season. The LA Chargers are sitting at 8-6 on the season. Both of these teams can pretty much lock up their playoff spots with a win. Both of these teams are kind of going in opposite directions, though. When you look at both of these teams, they're going in opposite direction. The Chargers have lost 3 of 4. They have lost to the Ravens, Chiefs, and Buccaneers in those 3 of those 4 losses. To end the season, they do play the Patriots and Raiders to end the season the next 2 weeks after this Thursday night game. The Broncos, on the other hand, are on a 4-game winning streak. They've beaten the Falcons, they've beaten the Raiders, they've beaten the Browns, they've beaten the Colts. No playoff-bound teams, but they're playing well. Hell, they humiliated the Falcons, let's just be honest. They humiliated the Ravens. They survived versus the Colts. If Jonathan Taylor would have hung on to the ball through the end zone, it would have been a totally different ball game. And then to end the season, the Broncos schedule doesn't get any easier. They play the Bengals, a Bengals team that's fighting for the playoff lives, a Bengals team that can put up 50 points out of a drop of a hat. And then they play the reigning Super Bowl champions, the most dangerous team in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs. So in hindsight, you would think that the Chargers wouldn't need this game more, right? In hindsight, you would think, hey, Chargers lost 3 of 4, Broncos won 4. The Chargers definitely need it more, right? And I could go either way on this. I can make points for make points for like both, right? I can say the Chargers need it because they need to beat a playoff team. They need to snap this 2-game losing streak. They need to get playing good ball going into the playoffs. But on the other hand, I can say the Broncos need it more. They have yet to beat a playoff team yet this season. I think they're 1-4 versus playoff teams. If they beat the Chargers, they beat a playoff team. They are continuing their hot streak. They're peaking at the right time. And truth be told, guys, if it's push to shove right now, I think the Denver Broncos need the game more. I think the Denver Broncos need to handle the LA Chargers, give them their third loss in a row, and lock in their playoff spots and get their mindsets ready for the playoffs. The reason that I say that is because the Broncos legitimately have a better chance to make an upset in the wild card round than the LA Chargers. If the playoffs were to start today, the Broncos would be the 6th overall seed, and they would be playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is going to be a knockout, drag-out type of game. Let's say somehow the Ravens jump up there into that 3rd overall seed. The Ravens have already humiliated the Denver Broncos just 4 or 5 weeks ago. Guys, the Broncos need to lock in their playoff spot, and they need 2 weeks to where they can kind of just give a vanilla defense and vanilla offense and kind of get their minds right for the playoffs. Get ready for that slug it out type of game. Now, for the people that are saying the Chargers, I can see the Chargers as well. They've lost 3 of 4. They lost 2 games in a row. If you lose to the Broncos, all of a sudden the wheels are falling off the car, right? But you do play the Patriots and Ravens, and the Raiders to end the season. You have 2 games where you can get right. Let's just be honest. But guys, in the comments below, who do you think needs the game more? Is it the Denver Broncos or is it the LA Chargers? Let me know. Casey says the Chargers are that team that always does okay. They don't have a Super Bowl caliber team or a front office. Herbert's talent is wasted there. You can say that about Mike Williams and Keenan Allen too, right? Their prime years were wasted on subpar teams. Speaking of subpar, where's Derek? Derek owes us guys a pigskin pundit. Mr. wants to make a bet, but then ghosts us. But hey, don't shoot the messenger, David. I'm just saying. Derek says the Ravens beat the Chargers in the playoffs. The only way for that to happen, Derek, if the Ravens and Chargers play, is that the Ravens would have to get the 3rd overall seed, take over the AFC North over the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then the Chargers would have to get the 6th seed. So if you think that is going to happen, the Chargers have to win out, get that 6th seed. The Ravens have to win out, get that 3rd seed, and think they have to beat the Steelers by, or I think somehow the Ravens and the Steelers, if they were to tie, the Ravens would have the head-to-head tiebreaker, or like some type of tiebreaker to put them over the edge. But the only way that would happen is if the Ravens get third, and the Chargers get 6. Unless you're talking like, I don't know, in an AFC championship, and then I'm like, slow it down, baby. Slow it down. And Laura wants to pull out the waffle card. Laura wants to say, I would like an Eggo waffle with some maple syrup, please. And she says they both need it more. Laura, there is no waffling over here on the Man Hour. Laura, you've been a pigskin pundit long enough that you know there's no waffling allowed. They both can't need it more. You got to pick one side or the other. Don't be trying to play straight down the line here. Pick one side. Pick one side. Pick one side. And John says, facts. Facts, Lord. Don't be waffling. Derek says Sean Payton needs it more. I think you're right, Derek. I think the Broncos do need this win more. Josh says Tyreek Hill likes the nice weather in Miami. Who doesn't like the nice weather in Miami? Right? Unless it's August, then nobody likes nobody likes Miami in like August or September or October or June or July or May. but Miami's perfect from October, November, December, January, February. Give me that weather. Alpha Rob says Chargers need it more. Yes, sir. But why? Why, Alpha Rob? Why do they need it more? I'm just curious. Speaking of David, you want some pigskin pundit, David? He says, my Chargers need a win bad. We need you to pay up your bet, David. And Laura says, no maple syrup, please. Sorry, she's a corn syrup type of girl. She's that white syrup type of girl. I don't want none of that tree sap. And John says, welcome to Homer's Cafe. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. And Laura's like, fine. If I can't waffle, if they both can't need it, I think then I think the Broncos need it then. So let me challenge you guys this. Let me ask this question. Let's do some follow-up questions here. Alpha Rob says the Chargers need it more. Why? Why do you think the Chargers need it more? And then Laura says the Broncos need it more. Why do the Broncos need it more? And then Alpha Rob says it's because they're the weaker of the two. So the Chargers need to go out there and beat the superior team to give them confidence, a little bit of momentum going into the playoffs. Is that the thought process there, Alpha Rob? But if you think about it just like this, if you put this into perspective, I guess, right? If the Chargers are the weaker of the two, but then they beat the superior team in the Denver Broncos, wouldn't that make the Chargers superior then? Make them better? I'm just trying to think out loud, to think the process here, guys, right? That is the one thing we do here at the Man Hour is we try to challenge people's thoughts, right? Like, hey, why do you think this is going to happen? Why do you think that is going to happen, right? That is the main thing. So, guys, who do you think needs to win it more? That's the biggest question. Who do you think needs to win it more? But, guys, we're going to go into segment number 2 here.